So you want to be a writer? Good. I'm glad you're here. I have 7 tips for you on how to start if you really are serious about becoming a writer. Hi you guys, in case you don't know who I am and you're new here, my name is Suggs and I am a writer and author of 3 books. I write fiction and nonfiction. I have self-published my 3 books. My 4th book is a contemporary romance novel. It's currently under review with a literary agent that I hope I will get published traditionally. So I use this platform to update you guys on all things to do with my writing journey. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So you want to be a writer. Maybe you've written a couple little things here and there, but you haven't taken it to that next level. You haven't taken it serious, and maybe no one's even read your work, but you're just ready. You decided this is what I want to do, and you don't know where to start. Well, I have 7 tips for you on how to do just that. Tip number 1 may seem obvious, but if you want to be a writer, then you have to write. And not just write, but you have to write and finish something. My advice to you is whether you're writing short stories or a full-length novel, or you're writing songs or poetry, whatever it is that you're writing, pick one point of focus. Pick one thing that you want to write, one topic that you want to write about, whether you want to blog or you want to write articles, whatever it is that writing means to you, pick one and start and finish it. And that will give you such a good feeling of satisfaction that you will not be able to stop. You'll keep going. If you already have this feeling in you that you want to be a writer, but you've never even written anything or you've never finished anything, once you do that, once you start and you finish, you are going to have this adrenaline rush that is just you're going to keep wanting more and more and more. So that is my first advice to you, is to write something and finish it. Tip number 2, if you do want to write a novel or short stories or even poetry that you want to someday have published, I recommend that you look at the options that you have. You can either self-publish or traditional publish. Look at all the options and see which way you want to go. Self-publishing has changed a lot in over the years, and it's not so frowned upon as it used to be back in the day. Back in the day when you know, there were a lot of self-published authors that weren't really taken very seriously, but the industry has completely changed and self-publishing is becoming the norm now. So don't be afraid of going down that route if that is something that you find interesting and that you want to dabble in. I definitely recommend it. Tip number 3 for if you want to be a writer is to prepare for whatever avenue you've decided to go down. So if you've decided to self-publish, then prepare yourself by lining up the editor and your critique partners and your beta, and that you have you're looking out for cover designers and format designers. So basically just prepare. And if you are going down the traditional route, then start preparing the synopsis, the proposal, your query letter. Obviously, this is all after you've written your book, right? All this is after you've gone through the writing process. You have to make sure that you write your book, and then there are many steps after that, but we're going to keep it simple for here. These are just some of the steps. If you want to be a writer, these are some of the things that you need to start considering and thinking about if you want to be a writer, and not just a writer, but if you want to be an author. Tip number 4, if you want to be a writer, is that you should start building your brand now. As I've mentioned before on this channel, writing is much more than writing. If you want to have a long-lasting career and you want to start getting out there, especially if you're going to self-publish, but actually even if you go down the traditional publishing route, you will still need to build a brand. You need to have an audience, people that you can share your works with, that the traditional company, the publishing companies are going to feel comfortable backing you up if you self-publish, even more so because you're doing it all. So you need to go out there and make sure that you're building your name, that you're building a brand, that you're, starting to identify with who you are as a writer, what kind of author you're going to be, what kind of things are you going to talk about on your platform. Tip number 5, if you want to be a writer/author, is to start networking with other writers. I didn't do this when I wrote my first 2 novels. I wasn't really on Instagram. I've been on Instagram now about probably 2 years, I think. Yeah, 2 years I've been on Instagram. So that was like a slow growth for me. So, but yeah, just want to mention, if you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure you do so. I am there daily. I post all the time and I do Insta stories. So make sure that you are keeping up with me over there because I love Instagram. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Start networking with other authors, go to retreats, or, join in on things that they're doing online, participate if it's something that fits nicely with your schedule, if it resonates with you, if you go on Instagram or Twitter and you see that all these writers are doing things like, I know that on Instagram a lot of writers do these sprint writing things where they all get together online and they write for a certain amount of time, certain amount of hours. Certain amount of words that they put down on one night, and that's a good way to network with other writers. So yeah, that's one of my tips. And tip number 6 is to educate yourself. No matter what you're doing or your level of expertise, you should never stop learning. And if you are just starting out, then even more so, because you guys, when I first started writing, I've mentioned that before here too, when I first started writing, I didn't even know what kind of font I should use for my manuscript. I didn't know how to title the cover page. I didn't know what things needed to be on there. I didn't know how to format the manuscript. So I Googled everything. So there's no shame in that. In fact, it's the best thing that you could do for yourself is to Google, learn, take courses, go to school, go on YouTube, go on forums, ask questions, just educate yourself on everything that you can do to become a writer/author so that you can reach all your writing goals. There's no reason why you can't write. Writing is such a personal thing. You don't need anybody else to write. All you have to do is just learn and just sit down and do it, right? All right, you guys, I hope you found these tips helpful. If you're new to the community, then welcome. I'm so glad you've decided to take on that leap in your life and to start writing. And yeah, that's all I have for this week. If you like this video, make sure you hit a like and share it with your friends. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, I appreciate your support. Make sure that you hit that little subscribe button on your way out. And until next time, stay safe.